he would go on the road. If the headliner got sick and the show got canceled, he's like in the Midwest, and you wouldn't just like zip home on a jet. You would call your manager and go, "Is there anywhere I can play? I'm stuck here in Illinois. What can we do?" And then suddenly he doesn't have work for the next 2 weeks, but he doesn't want to go home because he can't really afford the plane to do it. And it was like, wow, that was a rough life. There weren't that many job opportunities if you weren't in at the big places.
And he says this thing, it's that first time when he decides to go off the road, when he wanted to give up that old Danny Kaye want to be on television persona for when he became like the counterculture long hair beard guy, where he took a year off the road and stayed in Greenwich Village and just worked on his new act, whatever he wanted, the next incarnation of himself that he wanted to do. But he says the line, he's on some interview thing, and it's in the documentary. He goes, I can't do the road. There's no money in it. It's you spend all your money on the traveling, and that's it. That's still whenever he said that in like the late '60s, that's been a constant theme in my life and many other comedians.
And he had problems with the IRS. He didn't do his taxes properly or at all at some point. It's a little bit of a mystery how he screwed up his taxes right when he was successful, and then suddenly he owed, I would assume, millions to the government, and there's interest on it, and now he's on the road constantly just paying off the government and got himself in this really bad cycle, and that made him the kind of person who was away from his family.
So then he had to be on the road to keep the money coming in.
And his wife is now an alcoholic because this life is not working out for her, and she's depressed, and her husband's never home, and her dreams aren't being fulfilled in any way. And he's on cocaine, and now he's...
Which really opens you up emotionally.
Exactly. He's literally doing binges alone. We're just writing jokes and listening to music, and he's not partying with people. He's just doing a lot of cocaine by himself, it appears. And then they come home and fight around Kelly, and it sounds like a really harrowing childhood, and then it becomes a little bit of a triumph that they survived it, and they didn't break up, and they, got sober and worked it out. And I think he had struggles with addiction afterwards, but for the most part, a lot of that got resolved, and then tragically his wife died, relatively young.